Welcome to my channel. So today I want to talk about the 3D and why is it taking so long to change, and also I want to touch on cleaning up your 3D and also that void energy, that energy where we just go, "Ugh, I've been on this journey for such a long time and I've done all this work but nothing's changing." And you're the but. You are the but. You're the one that needs to change in here, and your energy. It's got nothing to do with 3D. So let's crack into this one. So welcome. I'm Kathleen from Awakening Meraki. And I'm going to say, because I'm always in flow, I'm entertaining myself because I've started seeing auras. Like, this is what happens on this journey. When you're really in your feminine, like your gifts just like expand. And I've been seeing energy for a while, but I've just started seeing in the last 2 days just full-blown auras, and I can see my own, and I'm like, what the heck's going on? So it's just quite entertaining for me. Anyway, always in flow around here. So this is the thing, when you get out of 3D and stop focusing on 3D, you get more entertained by your own energy that you become addicted to, and then your gifts are just like constantly expanding, and it's like, oh my God, just blowing my mind every single day. Anyway, let's get into the actual topic. So your 3D is we get into this energy where it's like, we've done all this work, I'm so exhausted, I'm so tired, and I'm actually just getting literally a little bit pissed off. And so then what happens is that big energetic wall comes up, that masculine energetic wall often comes up, or that real wounded, like feminine, like just really just so disconnected and broken. It's usually one of the two. And the thing is that your 3D shifts as your energy shifts. So let's get clear on what this journey is about. It's your awakening to realizing you're the soul, okay? And the soul is the creator of your physical reality. So it's a process, and this process starts very much like this. We have soul recognition, however long that bubble love phase lasts, right? Then ego death starts, and you're now just like, if you're like me, you were broken on the floor. Obviously, we all go through that terrible stage where it's just complete soul shock. You feel like everything's been ripped out of you. And this is all a process. None of this lasts just like a few days. This is months and months. And that structure is falling away, like the soul is pushing it to purge out, and we go through those huge oscillations. And so that is like what we're experiencing for quite a long time. And then we are kind of like, you know, it depends who you are. If you're like me, you were just like the addict of all addicts as well. So you're doing all of the ego death while you're being this addictive crazy pants. And I know I'm laughing at it. I'm really laughing at my own self, but I promise you will also laugh at your own self. It's not funny at the time. I do get that. It's just crazy. But then we kind of get to this place where it's like, well, now what? You know, we know that we're starting to become more aware, but we're still very entrenched in the 3D still. Remember, we've been so conditioned to believe that our 3D is our truth, that everything that we go out there to create, but it's not. You create from your energy, and then it shows up in your 3D. So your 3D life does take a while to change, and the more you keep seeking and looking outside of it, looking for it in the 3D, you're not seeing where the change actually needs to happen, and it must happen internally. It's all about alchemizing your fear-based energy. Now, the other thing I wanted to touch on about the 3D, so I see this all the time, I went through this myself, and it's like your old 3D life must be cleaned up before the new can come in. So I'm working with a lot of beautiful people, and and look, I've been through this as well. Even before I went on my big trip away, I was like, why have I still got my wedding dress in this house? Why have I still got these things? And you know, I literally picked this thing up after 5 years. I don't know. My mother made this beautiful dress, and I had a story around it, you know, but my mum made it and blah, 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 blah. I literally picked it up and I threw it in the dump. Soul is always nudging you to clean up your old energies in your home. And, you know, even when I came back from my holiday, I was like, why have I still got this particular duvet on my bed, this is a spare bedroom. This needs to come out of here. This is not reflecting my beautiful feminine energy anymore. So it's trusting that soul is nudging you. Now, what often happens too is that, you know, soul's not going to bring in the new when you're still clinging on to the old. So what I find quite often is that people are cleaning up the old. So let's say, for an example, you're going through a divorce, right? This is just an example that I comes across. You're going through a divorce and all the legal stuff and all that kind of stuff needs to be tidied up and dealt with. But it's kind of like it's taking forever, and you're really you're just in it. You're really in it. Your soul, the best thing, and I know some of you are going to go, what the heck, Kathleen? Just get it done. The sooner you just let go and go, I'm not saying don't, I need to be conscious how I'm saying this. I'm not saying no, don't stand in your power and be walked all over and not get your fair share of whatever it is, right? But this is the thing, when we get into the detail of these kind of proceedings and we get hung up on that kind of stuff, you are manifesting it. You are manifesting the delay of old energy to stay in your 3D life. Meanwhile, soul's going, can you just get it done, get it dealt with? Because the soul is actually abundant. The soul is limitless. The soul is not interested in clinging on to 3D legal proceedings, getting down to the nitty gritties of every little single cent, you know, and getting focused on the material world and what I want and don't want. And typically it's what the ego wants and doesn't want, okay? Soul doesn't, it's just not interested. It's like, we've had this experience, right? The soul's going, we've had the experience, let's learn from it, let's move on, let's tidy this up as quickly as we can. Don't get hung up on the details, because actually over here, waiting for you, is this stunning life where you won't care about money. You won't be focused on who's going to get the fridge and who's going to get the washing machine, you know, because you are so abundant and you've got this beautiful life coming towards you, but I really need you to clean this up. And the longer you play in the old energy and trying to fight for tooth and nail for materialistic things, you're going to stay stuck there. And I'm telling you now, the minute that you make this decision and go, actually, why am I holding on to this old energy, and who cares about who gets the fridge and whatever, right? And I know I might be sounding like I'm making fun of that, but that's the detail we get to. And then our ego clings onto it and it wants to make a point. The soul does not care about your point. It really doesn't. And I'm saying this from love, because it doesn't actually care. It wants to bring you into abundance. It wants to bring in the new, but you're so busy holding on to this, getting into your egoic structure. And it's saying, just let it go. Let it go. Let it unfold. Let it unfold. And it will be a lot easier for you. You're holding on to something that is not who you truly are. Your ego is holding on to it. Your fear-based energy is holding on to it, not your soul. And you are soul. You are not your fear-based energy. You are not the mind. You are not the ego structure. You're not all the stories. You're none of that. You are the soul here, expanding and evolving. And it wants to evolve past that. And so the more you let go of these kind of things, the quicker you will, and start to really just trust and surrender. And is that a word I liked? Nope. And it was very hard for me to surrender because I didn't realize how controlling I was. But really I was just holding on to fear. Surrender is going, I'm just going to let it play out. And when I need to deal with, say, the divorce stuff, for an example, I'm just going to allow that. I'm just going to be at peace with it. I'm not going to get into all the stories about it. I'm just going to deal with it in that now moment, and then I'm going to start moving. Your new cannot come in when the 3D is still around. That's why I started off with this, like even things like my wedding dress. So if there's things around your home and you're holding on to these materialistic things because, I don't know, out of fear-based energy, or you kind of, you know, like for me, it was kind of like, I'm so past the wedding dress story and all that, right? So it was just an easy throw it in the dump. It was actually very comical, but, I know when I was going through this process, I was still holding on to some things, and as soon as I let them go, I energetically felt so much better. My house is light and bright, and it is full of feminine energy. It's full of creativity, nurturing. It's not my old dense energy look and feel anymore. It's completely different. And so your soul is nudging you forward, but you have to stop looking in the 3D for that validation. So every time the mind wanders, but it's not changing and that frustration's coming up, soul is bringing that forward to you to say, hey, you need to alchemize the frustration. You need to let it go, because actually it's your energy that changes your 3D. It's the soul, it's abundance, it's all of that you're coming into resonance with. But we can't do that when we're constantly looking in the 3D for change. So this is a process. Remember what's going on here. You are learning that you are the soul, and the soul is powerful. The soul is all-knowing. It's omnipresent. It is abundance. It is your purpose. It's a frequency of love, peace, joy. It is your twin flame. And so checking in on your energy is where you get your validation. You don't get it in the 3D. You must check in here. It's that deep knowing, that deep trust that you are learning to trust, I guess. It's what you're learning to really listen to. Listen to your intuition. You have a knowing. The mind wants to doubt the knowing, but that's just conditioning. Your knowing is your truth. It's not the 3D. It's not all the stuff that we're holding on to from our old life. And so the sooner you can let that stuff go and just be in flow with it, the easier this whole journey will be. You see, I say this often, that the trees, when the autumn leaves come off the tree's not hanging on to those leaves going, no, don't fall. No, it's going, let it go. It's had its season. Newness is coming. New buds, new leaves, whatever. We all know how nature works. That nature can teach us a lot about how we actually need to be energetically, because nature's just doing its thing. It's moving with the ebbs and flows, right? That is what we're meant to do. We're all part of the same energy. We're meant to be moving with the ebbs and flows, but we've been given a mind, and the mind is out of control. The mind has been conditioned to be used in a way that it was never intended. It is not peaceful in the mind and in the stories. Your peace is out of those. So know this is a process. Everything is a process. But the more we cling and hold on out of fear-based energy, the longer that process gets drawn out. This is about, and I know it is hard to let go of that stuff, but you really do need to. It just really hinders the soul from wanting to drive the ship forward to bring in the new, right? That's what the soul wants to do, but we're still clinging on to fear. And when you alchemize all this fear, which gets done, through the process, more soul takes over. The more the soul takes over, the more settled you feel, the more balanced you feel, the more anchored in you feel, and the more you can trust your knowing, because now you are listening to your soul, the higher self. That's where you're taking your nudges from. You're not taking it from the 3D. So I'd really encourage you, if you're getting that nudge to clean up some stuff in your 3D life, there is a reason for it. And soul is nudging you, throwing away old stuff that doesn't resonate anymore. Yesterday I had lots of sessions with people, and it's all about feminine energy and bringing the feminine energy into your home and into your everyday living. So I'm going to do a separate video on that, because it seems to be coming up quite a bit at the moment. So I want to chat about that, but I'll do a different video. Anyway, hopefully this really does help. I mean, just know that when you let it go, yes, it's scary. I let go of jobs, I let go of a house, I've let go of so much stuff, but actually it was holding me back. It was suffocating me. And I know that now, because I'm completely free from it all. And so when you're free from it all, then that feminine energy can really come alive and really start to get creative, and your abundance just flows like it's literally like a tap that you can turn on and off. And that's what your soul is. That's what you're coming into resonance with. Anyway, as always, sending so much love.